Good morning. I just want to thank everybody for being here today. My name is Trish Shroud, and I am with the Lee County Sheriff's Office. I am also the coordinator for Southwest Florida Crime Stoppers, and I'm a board member of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. The reason we call this press conference here this morning is because we're coming up on the holiday season, and while we want everybody to enjoy the holidays and have a good time and spend some time with their families and friends, especially in this post-COVID world, we also want to make sure that everybody's holidays are safe. And a key to that is making sure that our roads are safe and that people have a plan before they go out if they're going to imbibe in any kind of alcohol consumption. You know, having a plan is key this holiday season to keep our streets safe. And we're going to start off this morning with Sheriff Carmine Marceno, who's going to address some of the issues that law enforcement is going to be looking at over the next 2 months. Sheriff?
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for being here today. Well, first, we all know safety is our #1 concern. And with the holidays right around the corner, family members are together, parties, we want to make sure that people go out, people have a great time, but really, really have a plan. The grids are busier than ever. Our roadways are packed with pedestrian traffic, vehicle traffic. And I'm going to tell you right now, as the sheriff, we're working as one cohesive team to make sure that we, in every place, increase patrols because there's zero tolerance on drinking and driving. It's 100% preventable, as we already see. There's no reason anyone should ever drink and drive. In today's world, at your fingertip, you can press a button, you can Uber, you have countless options. So I'm asking for everyone to be safe, to be responsible, and to make that decision not to drink and drive, because when you do, you absolutely make that decision, zero tolerance, you don't drink and drive, and you save lives. We want you to get to your destinations responsibly. We want you to have a great time. So I please ask everybody, we have amazing citizens in this great county. Make the right choices, and everyone has a responsibility to help those. If you see someone that has some drinks and is not able to drive, stop them. Take their keys. Tell them they shouldn't drive. And be responsible. We want to keep our roadways safe, and we will be out in full force because zero tolerance is zero tolerance, and the safety and security of our residents are #1. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to introduce Lori Burke. She is the Executive Director of Mothers Against Drunk Driving here in Southwest Florida. MAD is our main partner in getting the word out to the community about things that they need to do to protect themselves and to protect others on the roadways. And Lori's going to address some things that people need to keep in mind before they go out and engage in celebrations this holiday season. Lori?
Thank you, Trish. And thank you, Sheriff Marceno, for always supporting Mothers Against Drunk Driving and our vision of a future of no more victims. In 2020, there was a 9% increase in drunk driving deaths, despite there being less cars on the road. Recently, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration released numbers for the first 6 months of this year. A staggering 18.4% increase in the number of vehicle fatalities happened during the first half of this year. That translates into 20,164 deaths due to people's negligence on the roads. Our region, with NHTSA, which includes Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, and South Carolina, has seen a 22% increase in the first 6 months of this year. We're 4th in the nation for the number of increases. As we are entering this holiday season, we want to remind everyone that we can all make a choice for safe and sober streets and waterways. It's up to us personally to make that decision. Wear a seatbelt. Leave enough time to get to your destination. Don't speed. Don't drink and drive. Don't take anything that impairs you and get behind the wheel. Designate a driver use a ride share. There are endless ways to drive safe and to ensure that there are no more fatalities on our roads. Our vision for our beautiful Southwest Florida community is no more victims of drunk, drugged, and impaired driving at all. And the Lee County Sheriff's Office and the State Attorney's Office are amazing partners with MAD, and they are the people that go out every day and ensure that when someone does not drive safe, that they have consequences and that the laws are upheld in our state. This holiday season, it is our Taiwan On for Safety holiday campaign's 35th year. For this, we are introducing a new window cling, and it will be for people who say, I stand with MAD, I stand with the Lee County Sheriff's Office, and I stand with the State Attorney's Office for safe and sober streets and waterways. For more information about the window cling and its distribution, you can go to our Facebook page at MAD, M-A-D-D, SWFL. Thank you very much, and I wish everyone a happy holiday season and a safe one.
As Sheriff Marceno mentioned, the first layer of protection is having patrols on the road, deputies on the streets that are keeping their eyes out for impaired drivers. But once they're arrested, that's just the beginning. It's very important that we have prosecution and that people that are driving impaired are held responsible for their irresponsible actions. And we're fortunate in the 20th Judicial to have a state attorney who is very tough on impaired driving. And to touch on that, our state attorney, Amira Fox.
Thank you, Trish, and good morning to everybody. I'm your state attorney, Amira Fox, for Southwest Florida, and I stand here today with Mothers Against Drunk Driving and our great Lee County Sheriff, Carmine Marceno, to just tell you one simple message. Don't do it. If you've been drinking or you've been taking drugs that impair you, do not get behind the wheel of a car. That includes prescription drugs. Just because you're lawfully prescribed a drug, if it's impairing you, you should not get behind the wheel of a car and drive. That is a DUI. Think about the consequences, both to yourself and to others. Let's just start with the consequences to yourself. Here we are in a 5-county circuit. I've got 120 prosecutors that have all been trained in how to prosecute a DUI. You got terrific law enforcement that, as Sheriff Marceno just told you, is going to be proactive and is going to be looking for you if you're driving impaired. A misdemeanor DUI, a first-time DUI arrest, carries with it the following consequences. Not only a very large fine, but up to a year in the Lee County Jail. You hurt somebody, you create a serious bodily injury to somebody else because of your impaired driving, or God forbid, a death, you're going to the Florida Department of Corrections for up to a numerous long amount of years. So think about it and don't do it. If you've been drinking or taking drugs and you're impaired by them, do not get behind the wheel of a car. The tragedy for yourself and for others is extreme. One of the hardest things as a state attorney, and I know as a sheriff, is to sit with the family of somebody who's lost a loved one because of the criminal negligence of somebody else who chose to get behind the wheel when they were impaired. Do not let that happen to you. You do not want to be responsible, not only for a tragedy to yourself and your own family, but to another family that's lost a loved one, an innocent person that gets killed because of your actions of driving impaired. And if all that is not enough to stop you to think when you get behind the wheel impaired, then think about your wallet, because on a first-time DUI offense, By the time you add up the price of an attorney, your increased insurance, the price to get your license back, and all the fines and court costs, you're looking at an average on a first DUI of $10,000. And by the way, it just goes up by tens of thousands of dollars the more serious the DUI gets. So I implore you, we all implore you, this holiday season, we want you to have a wonderful holiday season. Enjoy your family and your friends. But do not, just don't do it, get behind the wheel of a car when you're impaired by alcohol or drugs. Call for a ride. Because I know Sheriff Marceno and I do not want to meet you because you've been arrested for a DUI. Thank you.
You know, it's one thing for the four of us to stand up here and tell you not to drink and drive, to make good decisions, and the consequences, but it's a total different thing to hear from someone who has lived the pain of a DUI crash that has impacted their family. I'd like to bring Jessica Reiner up. In December of 2015, Jessica and her husband were on their way to a Christmas party. Their boys were with family that night. An impaired driver struck their vehicle, and her husband lost his life that night. Jessica, if you could share your story.
Hello, everyone. So it's been almost 6 years, and hearing this will still bring tears to my eyes. Sorry. What people don't realize is this never goes away. My son's going to homecoming Saturday, and his dad won't be there. He got his license this past year, and he wasn't off to see him drive his first day to school. We have a high school kid playing football, another one in his freshman year. My 7th grader wrestles. My little 5th grader is just an amazing football player, and all the things their dad dreamed of the whole time, he's not here to see. And unfortunately, my husband did pass away, and I get to drive by that site every single day. And there's not a day that goes by that we don't think about him in some way, shape, or form. So all I can tell you is go have fun. You know, we were on our way to a Christmas party ourselves, but I would never get behind the wheel and drink. Even if my husband or one of us was going to have a couple drinks, we'd always make sure somebody was able to get us home. Sadly, the man that took my husband's life had over $500 in his pocket. He chose to get behind the wheel of a car. Multiple people at the place he was at noted that he was unable to drive and still let him do it. And not only did we have to go through the loss of my husband, we had to go through an 8-day trial, which was absolutely grueling, listening to defense attorneys, and state's attorney was wonderful, thank God. But listening to all that, my kids had to be, there for part of that too, and it was just really, really hard. The man who killed my husband spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on attorneys trying to prove his innocence. Sadly, it affected his family too. He had never been in trouble. His family was all here. And now he's in prison for 13 and a half more years because of a bad choice that night. So all I can tell you is go have fun. I'm not going to be the Scrooge who tells you that you can't go out to a party and have a good time. But just think about your actions. And when you look at my sons, just think about how, they were 11, 9, 7, and 4. And now they're 17, almost 15, 13, and almost 11, and their lives had to go on without the most important person in their life. So I just think that everybody needs to think long and hard before they get behind the wheel of a vehicle, and not have holidays be so hard. This is a very hard time of year. Thanksgiving was my husband's favorite holiday. As you can see, he was a giant and he loved to eat. And it was the last holiday that we had together. And then, he was killed 2 weeks before Christmas. So this time of year always, brings everything up. And I walk into work and I see the Christmas party notices posted, and I think how if I wouldn't have went that night, things would be different for me and my family. So I just hope that hearing my story will make you guys just think before you get behind the wheel of a vehicle. Thank you.
You heard from our amazing partner, Lori Burke, Mad, Trish Rout. You heard from our amazing, great state attorney. As a sheriff, your safety is my number one concern. You heard from a very special person here today who's pouring her heart out to tell you that 4 children do not have their father today when they go to sports, when they live their every single day life. There are choices, decisions, and consequences. I say it again, choices, decisions, and consequences. We're asking you to make certain that you do what's right, that you do what's responsible. And that is have a plan and do not drink and drive. I'm telling you now, as we stand here, we will be out in full force all over our county, and it will be zero tolerance. I want everyone to have fun, but safety is number one. I'll take any questions. We will take questions.
Anything different this year, Sheriff, in terms of what you'll have out there, like roadblocks or any of that kind of stuff?
Well, I could tell you the difference is it's not going to be the amount of manpower we have out there. We work very closely, as you can see, not only with our state attorney, but all our partners, MAD, FHP, the Florida Highway Patrol does an amazing job, Fort Myers Police Department, all the police departments can work together, but the game changer is going to be the technology and what we utilize, the real-time information center, having the ability to look at cameras. So if someone calls in a license plate as to someone that possibly is impaired, we can track that vehicle everywhere in this county and in seconds or minutes have that vehicle stopped. So if the eye in the sky doesn't tell you not to do it, make the right choices. We're going to be out in full force.
How about some kind of a connection with bars, taverns, restaurants to try and get more kind of awareness with them?
We're a big believer on education, awareness, and lastly, enforcement. So we're doing press conferences like this. We're reaching out via social media. We're doing everything we can to tell our residents, because again, we have amazing residents here. And people make mistakes, but this one costs lives. So we're asking every single person to make certain that when they make that choice and decision, that they think about it. And this is what today is about. So we're also asking you to help us, the media, to help us get that message out, because we're not going to tolerate it, and we're going to be in full force. Make the right choices. Any questions? I'm sorry?
I have one. I heard Lori say that in 2020 there was a 9% increase in drunk driving deaths. Is that in Southwest Florida or nationally?
Nationally.
Nationally.
Do we know in Southwest Florida was there any increase last
We
year?
can get those numbers for you, absolutely. And we will deliver them if you request it. But I can tell you this. Again, I want to reiterate. The majority of our residents are amazing. We serve the best residents in the country. They're part of our team. The small percentage that want to go out there and commit crimes, think again. This is the wrong county. You're not going to stay on these roadways. We're going to be out in full force. You're going to go behind bars. All right? Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.